Here I'll give you a quick tour of the Morrisby website. When a student completes their profile and is given access to the online system, the first time they log in they land on the Planner tab. Here they can invite the parent or guardian to access their account. That person has a lot of functionality. They can change settings, do what-if scenarios, do research. But as soon as they log out, any changes they've made are lost and the system reverts to how the student left it. If I click on the Profile tab, a series of sub-tabs pop up. And each of these pretty much is looking at a person from one-dimensional points of view. So here we're looking just at their aptitudes and the kind of career areas which people with that aptitude pattern tend to end up in. If you want to know more about the test, there's a pop-up. If you want to know what the black line is for, there's a pop-up. And students can recomplete any or all of the aptitude tests in discussion with their careers advisor. No charge, but careers advisor would just have to reset results for them. When we look at the interest tab, there are 10 bars here. The length of a bar, the stronger the interest. If you want to go behind the 10 bars, you can click on the World of Work, I call it the Wheel of Work, to get to 49 subscales. And these are partially interactive, so if I click on Things and then Practical, you can see that maintenance is a strong area of interest for this student. The student can retake the questionnaire at any time. If they do retake it, their results overwrite the earlier version and the changes immediately will change the career suggestions. The Work Style and Workplace tabs both come from the interest questionnaire, so if you change that, these will change as well. Personality. There are 4 scales here, 81 different short descriptors. This person has the entrepreneur. But don't get caught up on short descriptors. It's very hard to describe somebody in 1 or 2 words. So instead read the descriptive text and perhaps look at the purple box. There's often some great little descriptive words in there. The way the system works is that the longer the line, either one side or the other side of the centre point, the stronger the preference for operating in that way. So this person has a strong or a fairly strong preference for focusing more on the world and people around them. Somebody else might have a focus on the inner world of ideas, thoughts and deliberations. The questionnaire can be retaken over time. Priorities. This is a work values questionnaire which is not part of the initial testing. The student has to do it on top and it will essentially rank order their work values. Can be retaken at any time. Learning style. Here Morrisby pulls together data from aptitudes, interest and personality to suggest how a student learns best. And study interests, I'll come back to this later. When we go to the top row of tabs, this is where Morrisby is attempting to add value by blending the information they've collected on the student. I'll start with the Careers tab, which is probably the most powerful, and on the left the first thing you have is a Qualification tab. Now there'll be a default level of qualification here, which is Morrisby's best guess at the academic attainment the person will be going for. Don't get too hung up on this because test scores are not a particularly good predictor of academic attainment. They don't take into account a range of things including personal motivation, organisation, good study habits, quality teaching, luck in terms of what's being revised, etc. So if you feel the need to change this, feel free to do so. For this student, for example, they might say, well actually I don't fancy too much education after school, so I want to go into full-time employment and I actually quite fancy an apprenticeship. And this will be changing the list of careers on the right. If you want to find out more about these, click on one. This will open up a series of sub-tabs. What we have here is a description of plumbing, something on the career routes. So we're talking about the motorways and the pathways. The motorways are the bigger lines, the route which most students will take. And it will talk about possibilities in the future where students might go from Cert 3 into Cert 4 and specialise. There are information on related careers. Morrisby do this because the idea behind careers guidance is not to pick a specific career. It's far more around offering a range of options which might suit the individual in a different way. And what we want them to do is to do some research and make their own decisions on their own set of criteria. So it's all about extending the possibilities rather than narrowing down, certainly earlier on. And there are resources where students can go off, case studies or videos. Now, a student might well look at this and think, I don't really like my fire. So what you as a parent could do would be to click on the Interests Focus On button. And what this will do will change the background algorithm that drives the career suggestions to overweight the interest component. And the interesting thing is if you untick that and then tick the Aptitude tab, we're interested in how similar or different the lists are. If the lists are fairly similar, then aptitudes and interests are saying similar things, positive thing. If they're not, then it's something to discuss. Not necessarily a problem, but it's certainly something to discuss. And you can do multiples. So you could, for example, do aptitudes and personality. Now, for now, I'm going to go the other way academically and say, okay, aspire to a degree, probably not do an apprenticeship, and here is a list of career areas. I'm now going to move into the next tab, Options at 16, where you'll have rank ordered all the senior secondary, VET if it's appropriate, VCAL if it's appropriate, subjects listed by your school. They will limit the list based on what's available. And you can have a look at these and make decisions about whether you're interested in these or not. You can say yes, no, etc. In this, you're simply doing some pre-thinking. No school is going to say, well, back several months ago, in this online bit of software, you said you might be interested in visual communication and design, so we require you to do it. It's not like that at all. It's some pre-thinking. If you're not in Victoria, then the relevant qualification will be listed for you. And if you're at a school that offers something like the International Baccalaureate alongside something else, there'll be a switch so you can move between them here. Morrisby does support apprenticeships. So here there's a range of apprenticeship options. You can go through, find out more about them, look at similar areas, and again, resources. And there is a search for the Australian apprenticeship pathways, if that's relevant for you. Moving on, we have options at 18+. What we have here is a series of study areas. Morrisby has around 650 careers and around 150 study areas. A study area is a broader view of academic study than a specific career. So for example, if we go into surveying, building and estate management, it will give you quite a lot of information about these areas. If we look at study topics, these are the kind of specialisms you might have within a generalist surveying, building and estate management degree. Similar areas and resources as usual. Now, this has already been done, but there is, for a student when they haven't been through this before, a black box saying study interest questionnaire. Typically that's done in year 12, but you can do it as many times as you want. If you want to do it in year 9 or year 10, that's just fine. And what this does is ask you what you want to study. And that's different to the interest questionnaire, which was asking you about the tasks and environment you wanted to work in. So that study interest questionnaire gives an additional source of information for Morrisby just to refine the list of study areas that might suit you. I hope you find this useful and enjoy working with it.